Welcome at the last part of the Blender 2.8 for beginners, and as usual, if you miss what mouse and keyboard buttons I'm using, you can see them back down below in this left corner. And for today I'm going to show you how you can make the cables between the joystick and the console, and between the console and the TV, and after that I will show you how you can render a nice picture. Now the first thing that we will have to do is of course use a Bezier curve, and I will show you what you can do with it, how to shape it, how to give it thickness and all that kind of stuff. Will make sense in a second. So let's press Shift A, go to the curve and click on Bezier. Now at this moment we cannot see anything because it's hidden in the TV. Let's go to the top view with numpad 7. Press G, press Y. Hold your control because it's going to work onto the grid for this first one, and let's move it down like so. As you can see, a Bezier is basically just a thin little string. If I unselect it, it's black, and when I select it, it's orangey. Now, if I go to edit mode with tab, you can see that the black line now has some arrow pointy things, we have some red lines, and we got some orangey dots. And it can confuse you, but I will explain you all about it. Now as you can see, we also got a new tab down here. It's a green line with 2 cubes if you would. And when we click on this, you can see we have a lot of new options down here. Now you can just close the shape because you only need to know the depth. So let's just click on depth and see what happens. As you can see, we give now the cable thickness, because if we don't add a depth and we leave it like black, which means we can just zoom in and it won't get any thickness the further you zoom in, and at some point you can just go through it. So let's just give it a depth of 0.02 for now, and later on we're just going to adjust that. In this case, let me just explain you what this all is. So this is a begin and end point. In the beginning and end point, you can always select it in the middle of it, or you can select it at the side. Now, I'm just going to show it with this one. When I just select the one in the middle, it will select the whole thing, and I can press G in order to move it, and when I move it, you can see it will shape the string, right? But I could also press R of rotate, and it will also shape the string. Now, you can also select one of these end things and or press G to move it and it will rotate around. Or you can say, let's press G and in this case X, or lock it. And it doesn't do anything with this, right? But when I select this one and press G and X, it does change the shape once again. So it will only change the shape once again for the outside if you select the things on the inside. I hope that makes sense. So this one on the outside doesn't do, and then the inside it does do. Now in this case, what I'm going to do, I'm just going to press Z. I'm going to go to wireframe so we can work onto the grid. Before we do this one, we're first going to do this one, because this one will be turned and it will show a different way of working with it. In this case, this one is on the grid, so it's a lot easier to work with it. So what we're going to do is we're going to rotate this first one with R and Z, Control, and we're going to move it like so because we want the cable to be in there. So let's press G, let's press Y, hold your control, and let's move it into the joystick. But as you can see, it doesn't go properly in. Of course you can say let's press G, Y, and let's place it in the front of it. But when we go to the side view, first of all, we need to move this one up. Let's press G, Z, Control. Let's move this up so it's like at the end trace of it. If I would press Z and go to solid mode, you can now see it kinda is at the end trace. But you can see that it's not done properly, right? It has like a gap between it. And you know, before I showed you when I press G and Y and I go in there, it doesn't work like that. So what we have to do is we have to extend another part of it. So from the top view, I'm going to press Z, wireframe. I'm going to press E. And now we have an extra part. And this extra part, I'm just going to hold Control and move it something like this. And in order to not confuse with which one is which one, I'm going to press S for scale, hold Control and just move it just like so. And now it's gone. It's a little bit too much, so let's just do it again. S, and not all the way, so you still want to see like 3 dots instead of 1. This is fine. Which I mean, when I select this dot from the long one, I press G, press Y, and I just move it just in here. Now we can see the other one, and we don't confuse with which one is which one, right? So now that we have moved 1 at the end trace, 1 inwards, the cable goes nice in there. If I press Z and go to solid mode, go here, you can now see the cable goes in there. And what we can do now, if we just go out of edit mode to not see all these stripes and stuff, we can now give it a better shape. What we can do is just zoom in for a bit, just ignore all the flashing stuff. This here is what you see is from the joystick, and this line here is clearly from the cable. So what we can do now is just press it smaller or bigger. As you can see, this is a little too big, this is too small. So what I can imagine is 0.018. And this is already a lot better. Now you have to keep in mind this is low poly, so you cannot exactly give it the right size, but in this case it looks fine for me. Now let's go to the top view. And let's take care that we shape this into the console, but the first thing we have to do, I'm going to move the console a bit, because, you know, having everything too much straight isn't very naturally. Now this one, we can keep them straight. We just imagine someone is laying here on the floor to play with this while looking at the screen. At the console, I'm going to press R, Z, I'm just going to move it a slight bit like this. And I'm going to place it like so. It's kind of on a line with the TV, slightly turned. And then we're going to select this one, and we're going to replace this one from the camera view, because we want to see the back of it. So, with this joystick being selected, press R, press Z, and just move it until you slightly see what's going on down there on the back. Let's press G, X, move it about here, let's press G and Y. Let's just place this down here. Now, it's down here, we can just... You just want to barely see it, but still see it. So it looks more naturally when it's not all facing the same way. Someone has been laying like right down here playing, and someone has been laying down here. You can even decide to put it more backwards, whatever you like. In this case, that is your freedom. Now let's make this cable into the console. It's now a little bit difficult because we placed it in an angle. I'm just going to select this one. I'm going to move, for example, this one right down here. And I'm going to move this one down here. I'm not holding any control for this, because we cannot work onto the grid anymore. And as I said before, you can also press S for scale, and scale it like this, and try to figure out what would be a nice cornering and what would be, naturally. Of course, I can imagine when you do this the first time, it can be a little bit messy. Another thing that I want to actually show you, if you select this red stick here in the middle and hold shift and select this red stick in the middle, if you press the other mouse button, you can click on Subdivide, which will create another one of these things between in. So it will give you a little more power when you have another one between in. For example, you just want to, play around with this, having a shape go more wavy out of it, or you want to make this more smaller, or things like that. And go out of edit mode and check if it kind of feels okay for you as in natural shape. You want to keep in mind that the corners kind of stay the same, so don't make all of a sudden too small of a corner, because you have to keep in mind it's like a rubber cable. Yes, stuff like that. So now we have to get in here. So what I would recommend is first extrude, then place it down in the front of it, because we have a little stripe down here. We can better see it, I believe. Going to wireframe, yes. Press off or rotate, press X. Now just try to look at this stripe down here while you're rotating this. Remember, you can hold shift in order to go more softer with movements, and just kind of aim this out. Like, try to get these lines the same. So now you can just safely, for example, place this or in the front of it, like so, and then press E to extrude, and try to place this line onto the other line, and then press S for scale, make this smaller so you're less confused. You can press this one, press G, have to be careful with movements. I'm just doing this so, you get less confused because it's in through each other. And now I just have to find the line of the input again, which I can slightly see. I just play around with this for a bit. Right down here. Just beautiful. So now, if I go out of edit mode and press Z and press solid, we still need to move this thing up here. Now, because the first one we moved up, the cable is laying here onto the ground. That's very nice. So, in edit mode, select both of these red sticks. Make sure you select it in the middle. Go to the side view. And from the side view, you can also make sure it goes in there. If you cannot see it, then press Z, then go to wireframe. It can be difficult to see, but you just have to find a spot. Like, I know that the input is a round thing, and I see here a round thing, and this round thing has always like a nice stripe in the middle. So once again, press G, press Z. You can hold Control in this case because I believe it's almost perfectly in the middle. So without Control a little more up. I hope it makes sense here what we do. And just move it up, just play around with it for a little bit. It's messing around for the first time I had it to. It's a lot different than making a fishing rod. So in this case I've placed it in here, I made a nice corner down here. I don't have to make like a nice corner in here. And once again in edit mode, what we could do, press this one, press X. Just bring this one inwards. And as you can see, automatically it gives you kind of a shape again. Here a nice shape. Now this one here is back again, I believe. Didn't I press Ctrl Z on that one? It's okay. Something like this. You really have to eyeball this out, give it a natural flow. It's a little bit too straight here, I find, but can't have everything. Maybe if I just move this one. No, that doesn't help. Maybe with R and B. Well, kinda. But this will give it a little more flow in here instead of having it straight. Go out of edit mode. And you know what? I think this is kinda fine. So what we have to do now in edit mode from the side view. Well, actually, first from the top, select the ones that lay onto the ground. I saw 3 of these ones for me. Then go to the side view. And in solid mode, after you press Z for it, you want to make sure that the cable is laying onto the floor. So press G, press Z. And in this case, you can hold Control because the one onto the floor, you can see down there at the right side, it's already onto the floor. When you press G, you can move it up like this. Well, actually not, mind that. You just press G and then Z. And just place it. Eyeball this out. This will only work when the depth is exactly like 1 or 2 or 3. So it's same with these blocks. You can see right now a block here is 1/8 is, I believe, almost 2 blocks. It's just less than 2 blocks. That's why you cannot do it on the grid. But this is fine for now. We have now made our first cable with a nice smooth flow in here. Of course, you can say maybe the cable needs to be longer, which in case means that you just have to make the cable longer. Now it's very tight still. Yeah, you just have to play around with this to see what you like, what you think would be good. It's really a messing around thing. Now, what we could do for our second console is actually start out with this thing here. So we can select this cable and press Shift D and then just place it roughly like this. You can also say let's place it a little bit lower first, then place it back, go into edit mode, grab those two, Press Z, going to wireframe, and now let's just place this one. Just gonna do this rough. Like, I know what is the middle here, that is this line. Going to roughly place this right down there. And one thing I actually forgot is we need to check out if the input here is fine. I'm just going to angle my camera here. So the point is, if you zoom in and you cannot zoom in further, or the angle is weird, you want to focus on this, but you cannot really focus on it. What you have to do is readjust the camera. So go to the side view, focus on the point you want to, go to the front view, move the camera offside if need, and then you can just go into 3D mode and you can clearly see what's going on. So in this case, once again, press Z, press solid mode. And you know what, it's kinda okay. I don't think I have to resize this whole thing here. It looks fine, at least for me. If you made this like bigger or smaller by accident or whatever, then this one here, what you could do is you go to edit modes, the console, press Z, go to wireframe, then select. What's going on there? Oh yeah, that's the inside, that's right, no, that's okay. So go a little bit to the front view of this thing here, then select the whole show, take care that you got the whole ring around, and then go back to solid mode. And then what you could do is press S for scale and try to, resize it, or you can do it like this. Try to resize it like this. But this is fine. Yes, it's a little bit lesser here and more over there, but we are talking about little ant things. So in this case, let's select this cable and resize it on the spot where it's supposed to be. In this case, things will be different, because when I press B and select this whole show down here, and move it up here, and I would press R for rotate and press Z to lock it, I just have to work from a different angle, right? So what we can do here, I can clearly see the middle of the console stripe here. I can just kind of place this like so, or better on the back. Yeah, that works better. And I see that I need a little more, because this stripe here, the red one, is in the middle of this one, and over here this stripe is not onto the middle of this line. So press R, Z, just like so. It's really just messing around. I didn't really found a more easy way to actually do this. Like so. I think this is fine, perfect. So now all I have to do is make sure that, I shaped it the right way, but it's going to be more difficult. So I just have to place this here, then turn this like that. And now I have to make another one in the middle here, because this corner is too tight. So select both of these things, or the mouse button, subdivide, and now I got another thingy here, and I can kinda try to aim this out. And I have to resize this one again, like this. Press G to make this one like a lot larger or a little shorter. Press G and to make this larger again. I have to place this here larger, like this. Well, that is fine. Almost. Like, it's okay if you go in corner. It might not be too perfect. One other thing is that this cable is way too long. So what I have to do here, first of all, is place this one here. Like this one, shorten it up, and place this first down here, rotate it. Yeah, I'm going to need another extra one for this. It's a lot of messing around. But you kinda get the idea, right? Yeah, I'm getting silence here because, you know, it's really all just what it is. It's trying to focus on what you do here, trying to get like a nice curvy shape in there, and you just have to mess around with that. I did that for my end result too. Now, as you can see, this corner is a little too small. I should make it bigger and then add maybe another one in there. Just keep messing around with this until it's fine. Now that this does it more. Ah, that's all better. But this is all up to you. Now the last thing that has to be done is actually a cable from the back, which is super easy. I am going to use another curve for that. I'm just going to roughly place this out here. And then I'm just going to rotate this like, you know, kind of eyeball out like, oh, there's like an input down here. Oh, I don't know how much you will see on camera. Just trying to kind of eyeball this out. Let's go to the camera. It might even be better. Like, yeah, you don't see anything. I believe in my end result, I even put it more forwards or had some more space between in. But just, you know, I'm just gonna fix this one just to give you an idea. Just move this one up like so. Go to the bevel. Add some thickness to it. You can make it a little bit thicker, not too much, of course. But like cables from the back usually had like more thickness. I'm just gonna keep this on 4 and just take care that it's on the floor. You know, yeah, like I said, on my view you cannot really see something, but yep, for your view you might be. I just first need to place this on the ground, which is Z. Go into edit mode, select the last one here, just this one. Come on, don't be afraid. This one, the heck is that? Ah, okay. Yeah, this one. Do it from the top view, like so. It's basically the same what I did before, actually. Yeah, I should have started out from here and then go down. Just messing around. Yeah, this is what I needed, like a nice curvy corner. The resolution is not optimal. I don't think that you should do it like this, at the resolution down here. You have to do that over here. So on the top one at shape, if I would lower this or increase this, it should, it probably doesn't do too much different. It should do at least something. Oops, it would be handy to select the right curve actually when doing this. So it is resolution preview, this thing and that thing. This is for the render type. This is just to see what's going on. It's, I believe, standard on 24, on 12, so 24 looks okay. You don't have to increase it like reality graphics because we are working with low poly stuff. So 24 is okay. I was actually messing with this one. Let's keep this on 24, and all we have to do is just of course save your work. And second of all, now I'm going to show you how you can make your picture. So in this case, let's go to the, what is that called, the render tab, of course. So if I would press F12 right now, you can actually see small little things. These are the tiles. And oh, very good, very good. Let's give our cable some color. I'm not gonna redo this whole tutorial. I'm human too, so let's choose black. Use this black for you know, rubber-ish look. Like this one here, black. Okay, very good. So, like I wanted to say, when I press F12, you see these tiny little tiles pop up. we can see that it's not a 100% done. You can see here there's a lot of noise, grain, or whatever you want to call it. And you can also see that our background is gone. I cannot remember in the tutorial where I showed some of the render basic settings if we deleted the background, but for now it's fine. And as you can see, the picture is done. Well, is it done for on your computer? Well, actually no. The point is, what we just did is we have been rendered it onto 128 samples, and I'm just going to show you real quick that if I put this on 1, you can see it looks like this. 10, it looks like better, etc, etc, but you can also see it will take longer and longer time. Now the point is, Blender has something new. It's called denoiser. So if I would put this on 1 and we go to the scene tab, which is this one, I believe, or this one, excuse me, the fill layer tab, it's not the scene tab. You have the denoising. So when I click on the denoising and I had it on 1 sample, you see that something changes. Now, this might be like some kind of a nice effect for whatever. Looks actually like Borderlands 3 outline here. You can see that Blender tries to blur away those dots. Now, of course, the higher you set it, the better the denoising can be, but you don't have to set it like a few billion samples anymore. You can just leave it a little lesser high. So in this case, as you can see, we only have it on 10, and the denoising is kind of doing the work of getting these dots out. Now I am going to put it on 100. I just want to, share it with you what it does. I actually hope that my recording can hold this, because recording and rendering is not always the best thing to do. But in this case, you can see it getting very clear. And what Blender does, first it will render a piece, and after it rendered a piece, it will go on to denoising that piece. So it doesn't happen at the same time. Here you can see Blender just went here, it did render it, but it didn't denoise it just yet. When it skip past it again, it will just denoise it. And as you can see, 100 samples, it looks already better. Now, if I didn't have denoiser on, I'm just gonna turn it off. So let's go to the View Layer tab with the pictures, turn it off, press F12 again. You can see now it will have a lot of these little dots still, and Blender doesn't do anything with it, and it looks less good. So in this case, it is actually up to you. We could say let's put it on 1024 samples. Back in the day, I really had to go up to 2,000-3,000, but now with the denoiser you can set it a lot lower. So that is one thing I show you about rendering, right? And at this moment, my cycle is rendering on CPU, but if I open this, I can also render on GPU, which is the video card. Now, it might be possible that your video card is actually not supporting it. You have to test it for yourself. It might also be that it's not turned on. But by the default, surprisingly, Blender now kind of knows if you have it or not. So what you could do to check it out, go to Edit, go to Preferences, then go to the System tab. Where's the System tab? There you go. The System tab, and up here it can show the devices for cycles. You have to press CUDA, and here you can select either your CPU or GPU. A CPU is your motherboard, and GPU is your video card. So you can see here if you can select it or not. If you can't, you just have to do it on CPU. If you can do it on GPU. In some cases, GPU is a lot faster. Now for me, GPU is a lot faster. You can clearly see right now. This is already done here, just in a finger snip. And, that is that. So CPU or GPU, just have to check that out for yourself. I have already tested many times, and for me, GPU is a lot faster. Another thing that I would like to show you is I'm going to go to the light patch of the render setting. I'm going to put 12 on 4. This is the bouncer, so the light bounces onto the ground, then bounces to the TV, and from the TV it bounces to the joystick and back to the ground. 4 times is really enough. It has been shown by Andrew Price what bouncing actually does. You can check out this video by just typing in Blender Guru. Go to his YouTube, go to his website, and you can find a lot of handy videos there. Yeah, it works all with the bounces. I'm just setting that on 4, and now there's another thing that's called performance. Now I have to admit that I have an add-on which you can just click on here and Blender will calculate with the video card or however it does it, which the tile size is. I just showed you before like these tiny little squares when rendering. This one detects automatically how big those squares need to be. Now, once again, if you want to turn this on, this is an add-on that's already built in. Go to Edit, go to Preferences, then you have to go to the add-ons and type here Tiles. And you can see the auto tile size, you just have to click. Now, as you can see already in my screen, it disappeared. Blender now normally automatically turn things on and off. Yeah, there it is. You just have to restart this. And then you click on it to activate it or deactivate it. In my case, it already calculates it. That are those few things. Now, the only thing we will have to do is add a black background and take care that those two can be seen. Now, I can show you a lot of difficult things with node editor and that kind of stuff. Probably someone will comment this, but in this case, we're going to use a new scene. So click on New Scene. New. In this case, you also know how to join two scenes together. So you learned something. So Shift A. We're only going to add in a camera. Don't do anything with it. Then we're going to go to this world setting here. Add a node. Put this all the way to black. Then go here. Back to scene number 1. Then in this case, let's open this. And before I continue, I just want to say, put this 250 on 1 because you want to have one picture. If you don't change this to one picture, you might think in about 3 days, hey, why is it still rendering? It's probably rendering frame number 150 or whatever. These frames are the pictures, so one picture is enough, right? Unless you're going to make an animation. It's all up to you. So in this case, when you set this all having on 1, go to here and go to Compositor and click on Use Nodes. Now, as you can see here, we have our halfly rendered picture here. It doesn't have to be rendered, by the way. So this is the output. This is our render layer, or better to say, this is our scene. Thingy. As you can see here, it's scene 1. We can change to, but keep it on 1. So what we're going to do now is we're going to select this thing and press Shift D to copy it, place it up there. Now we need to connect those, so let's go Shift A, and in this case, alpha over. Let's just put it like so. Take this string out and put it in the top, so the one goes to the bottom automatically. And don't forget to change your scene. Now, just for the sake of it, I just want to show you what it does. I'm just going to put this one on 10. And I'm going to press F12. Just let it render. First, what it will do is render scene 1, which we made with this thing down here. Blender doing something? Yeah, okay, it's doing something. And what you can also do if it takes ages. Should have done that actually. Come on, press escape to stop. What I should have done is go to the, it looks like an old school printer. Change 100% to 50%, so the preview window is a lot smaller and it goes a lot quicker. Maybe I should have put it on 10 samples. Is it? I'm not gonna watch. Just continue. Come on, chop chop. And then in the end it will add this black background. Very simple. Yeah. that is that. So now you have a picture with black background, but this was just a preview. When I press F12 preview, we don't want that, so let's just put everything on max 100%. I want this TV here, so I can set the samples to 1024, and of course, very important at this printer tab, set your folder. If you don't set any folder, it will always go to or C/TMP or D or whatever hard disk you have, and just open this one and set it to something like yourself. I've got here my special renders tab. Click OK, and when you pop out your picture, which you will have to do over here, alright, because F12 is the preview and Control F12 is, it's like you're rendering the animation, but our animation only have one frame. When you click on this, it will take some time to pop out your picture. Now, if you want to show your result onto my front page of my YouTube, I've got a Discord link that will bring you to Grand Abbot's Discord. You can show your artwork over there, or check in the description for my own Discord. And if you've got some questions or a request, then use the comment section down below. And if you found this video handy, then like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.